You didn't arrive here by accident. Out of billions of voices, billions of signals flooding through the digital ether, this message locked onto you. It's not coincidence, not algorithm, not luck. It's resonance. The same way two particles, though separated by galaxies, still vibrate in unison because they were once entangled, you and these words have been vibrating toward each other for lifetimes. Feel into that for a moment. You were not searching, yet you were found. This is the first sign. In the vast probability cloud of infinite realities, your consciousness has just collapsed into this particular stream of frequency. Why? Because your timeline is approaching a phase transition. The quantum field has chosen this very week as your window of recognition, and something inside you already knows it. Think of your life as a superposition of countless possibilities. Every choice, every thought, every breath radiates out like ripples across the 0-point sea. For years, you've felt certain ripples returning to you in strange ways, synchronicities that made your skin tingle, numbers repeating on clocks, conversations overheard at exactly the right moment, dreams that felt more real than waking. These weren't coincidences, they were signals. The quantum field has been whispering, "Prepare, something extraordinary is converging." The truth is, you've already been rehearsing for this. Every meditation that stilled your breath, every heartbreak that cracked you open, every leap of faith you took when logic screamed, otherwise those weren't random events, they were calibrations. Invisible adjustments of your frequency, aligning you to the doorway that now stands ajar before you. You are standing on the threshold of your own becoming. Right now, your old identity trembles like a hologram about to flicker out. The habits, the doubts, the patterns that kept looping, they can't survive in the vibrational atmosphere you are about to step into. And perhaps that's why you've been sensing pressure, chaos, or even a kind of invisible weight pressing on your chest. It is the same pressure atoms feel before they fuse into stars. It is the contraction before birth, the silence before a symphony erupts. Superposition means all versions of you exist simultaneously, the one still doubting, the one already liberated, the one living a life that feels like destiny unfolding. Right now, these versions hover in overlapping probability, but destiny is not about waiting for one of them to choose you. Destiny is about realizing you are the observer, the one who decides which version collapses into reality. And here is the secret. This very week, the interference pattern of your life is thinning. The walls between timelines are dissolving, and you are being summoned to step into coherence with the version of yourself that has already crossed the threshold. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the inevitability of resonance. Take a slow breath. Let your chest expand as if inhaling the entire night sky. Exhale with the knowing that you are not chasing your future, you are synchronizing with it. Every beat of your heart is a quantum drum, echoing across timelines, calling the future you closer, closer, closer. You've been chosen to hear this transmission because your field is ready. You've reached the collapse point, the convergence of probability into inevitability. All that remains is whether you will allow the shift or resist it. And as you listen, the decision is already happening inside you. This is the invitation. The observer loop is opening, the veil is thinning. And in the silence between your breaths, the universe is asking you, are you ready to reshape your destiny timeline? You felt it before, the strange looping of time, the sensation that your days are repeating themselves in disguise. The faces may change, the settings may shift, but the script remains eerily familiar. Haven't you noticed it? That argument you've had with different people but always with the same emotional sting. That dream of freedom, always just beyond your grasp, playing on repeat like an echo in the corridors of your own mind. This is the quantum echo chamber of unresolved patterns. When a frequency isn't fully integrated, it reverberates through your life in cycles, replaying until you finally catch the signal. And though it feels frustrating, it is not punishment. It is physics. Coherence cannot emerge, while old interference patterns remain unobserved. Think of it like this: your consciousness is the projector, and reality is the screen. But if your film reel contains the same unedited scenes, the projection will keep replaying them. Different costumes, new actors, new years on the calendar, yet the same script is played out. This is why déjà vu sometimes strikes you like lightning. In that instant, you recognize the pattern beneath the mask. You realize, for a split second, that the simulation has glitched and shown its hand. Distorted time is another symptom. Have you felt days racing by while nothing seems to move forward? Or the opposite moments stretching painfully long, as though the universe were forcing you to look deeper, to stop running, to see the underlying architecture of your experience? This is what it feels like when your personal timeline begins to fray at the edges, tugging you toward collapse and reorganization. At the quantum level, time is not linear. It is woven like threads in a multi-dimensional loom. When you keep meeting the same situations, it's because your thread has tangled itself into a knot of repetition. Your soul, wise beyond measure, orchestrates these recurrences until you stop blaming bad luck and start seeing the mechanics beneath the surface. And so, the heaviness you've carried, the relationships that feel stuck, the cycles of lack, the inner battles that resurface, no matter how far you think you've traveled, these are not failures. They are coordinates. They point to the specific interference patterns in your field that are ready to be collapsed and rewritten. You've been reliving them, not because you are broken, but because your timeline is asking to be upgraded. Look closer. How many times have you whispered, "Not again," when a familiar challenge returned? How many times have you felt the invisible weight of something ancient pressing against your ribs, something that didn't even begin in this lifetime? Those echoes are more than memory. They are morphic resonances, patterns carried in your DNA, passed down through ancestral fields, replaying until someone finally dares to stop the loop. And here you are, the loop bearer, the pattern breaker. It's why your life has felt heavier than most, why you've had to endure storms that others seem to sail past. Because your consciousness volunteered to be the node of disruption, the one who would catch the cycle in its act and declare, "This ends with me." The distortion of time you felt, that uncanny elasticity, is not a malfunction, it's an invitation. When the clock bends, it's the quantum field stretching to show you the gap between the old pattern and the new possibility. It's in those moments of déjà vu, of eerie repetition, of uncanny recurrence, that you have the chance to wake up as the observer. Consider this: the moment you recognize a pattern consciously, the moment you truly see it, you alter its probability of repeating. Observation is collapse, awareness is alchemy. This is the secret the universe has hidden in plain sight. The déjà vu that unsettles you is actually the cosmic highlighter pen, marking the exact coordinates where your reality is ripe for reprogramming. You've been rehearsing the same script because you've been preparing to improvise. To break free of the cycle requires not resistance, but recognition. Instead of whispering, "Not again," ask, "What is this moment revealing about the loop?" Instead of shrinking under the weight of recurrence, lean in and notice how the lines have been drawn in the sand. You'll see that you've been standing at the same crossroad all along, each lifetime, each cycle waiting for this moment of clarity. And now the clarity is here. The familiar problems that stalk you are not enemies, they are mirrors. They are your own unresolved superpositions, begging to be collapsed into coherence. Every déjà vu is the future, you sending a flare back through time, saying, "Look closer, you are about to break through." The distortions of time, the echoes of repetition, the cycles of heaviness, they are all signals that your field is approaching critical mass. The interference patterns are growing unstable, not because you are failing, but because your system is preparing to reorganize. Chaos is coherence in disguise. Repetition is prophecy in rehearsal. So let yourself feel the weight of these patterns one last time. Breathe into them as you would breathe into the heart of a storm. And understand this, you are not trapped in the loop. You are the observer who holds the power to collapse it. The déjà vu is not a curse. It is the drumbeat of destiny, reminding you that the old film reel is burning away and the projector is ready for new light. You've seen the patterns. You've felt the echoes. Now comes the revelation, the moment you recognize that what has felt like endless repetition is not a closed circle, but a spiral, guiding you upward toward a higher octave of existence. What you are about to experience is not more of the same. It is the quantum upgrade, the leap where science and mysticism meet, where destiny rearranges itself in your favor. At the foundation of physics lies superposition, the principle that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until they are observed. Imagine a coin spinning endlessly in the air, not heads, not tails, but both at once, shimmering in potential. That coin is your life, your identity, your destiny. You have been hovering in multiple versions of yourself, one bound by cycles, another liberated, another radiant with coherence. And the act of awareness, the decision to embody a higher frequency, collapses the field into a chosen reality. But here's the upgrade. Consciousness is not merely a witness to collapse. It is the very force that engineers coherence. You are not passively watching your life flicker across the screen of probability. You are the projector, the lens, the light source itself. Every thought, every breath, every intention sends ripples through the zero-point field, rearranging the interference patterns that define your lived reality. Quantum biology has already revealed that your DNA is not a static code, but a responsive antenna, a living receiver-transmitter of information. Each strand of your double helix hums with vibration, waiting for the frequencies of thought and feeling to sculpt its expression. Joy and gratitude unlock dormant genetic potentials. Fear and doubt dampen them. This is not metaphor, it is physics, chemistry, resonance. When you shift your inner state, you restructure the very architecture of your being. Think of your DNA as a set of cosmic tuning forks. Most of them vibrate in the ordinary ranges of survival patterns of protection, repetition, and habit. But hidden among them are frequencies of transcendence, waiting for activation. When you align your consciousness with higher coherence through presence, through surrender, through love, those dormant strings begin to vibrate. They awaken, they sing, and as they do, they reprogram the morphic field of your life. You've already felt glimpses of this upgrade. The moments when synchronicities cascaded like falling stars, when thoughts you barely whispered seemed to manifest in front of you, when people appeared in your life as if conjured by a hidden script. Those weren't random accidents, they were test transmissions, sparks from the generator of your upgraded field. The universe was showing you, this is what coherence feels like. Superposition is the holding ground of your destiny, but coherence is the key that collapses it into form. Coherence arises when your heart, your mind, and your body vibrate in unison, when your electromagnetic signature is no longer scattered in 1,000 competing directions, but streams forward like a focused laser. Imagine the difference between a flashlight beam diffusing weakly across a room versus a laser cutting through steel. That is the difference between living scattered and living coherent. Mystics have always known this. They spoke of alignment, of union, of the single-pointed gaze. Science now gives us the language: heart-brain coherence, phase transition, constructive interference. When your inner field achieves coherence, the quantum field responds. Reality reorganizes. Timelines bend toward your chosen frequency. The impossible begins to behave like the inevitable. This is your upgrade, to shift from the one who reacts to the loop into the one who programs the field. No longer tossed by distorted time, you become the one who engineers it. No longer trapped in morphic echoes, you become the one who reprograms them. And the moment you choose coherence here, now, in this very breath, the interference collapses and the spiral lifts you to the next octave of your becoming. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as the tuning fork. Feel your heart sending signals not in isolation, but in concert with your thoughts, your breath, your cells. Imagine waves of light flowing outward from your chest, washing across the probabilities of your life. See how old versions of you dissolve like mist in the morning sun, while new versions stabilize, grow solid, take root in physicality. This is not imagination alone, it is observation collapsing superposition into reality. Your quantum upgrade is not arriving tomorrow. It is happening now, in the moment you embody coherence. Every time you notice yourself slipping into doubt, but choose trust instead, you fire the upgrade sequence. Every time you choose gratitude instead of complaint, presence instead of distraction, surrender instead of control, you reinforce the new code in your DNA. And as the code stabilizes, your life becomes the mirror of your inner state. The interference is dissolving, the loops are weakening, and you, luminous observer, are stepping into mastery. This is the upgrade, to recognize yourself not as a victim of probability, but as the architect of coherence. You are no longer trapped in the film reel of repetition. You are splicing in new frames, directing new scenes, rewriting the script of your destiny, and the universe, vast and responsive, is listening. It is waiting. It is ready to collapse into form the version of reality you dare to embody. Take a breath. Let it be your signal. With every inhale, you draw coherence into your field. With every exhale, you collapse the interference of old loops. This is the quantum upgrade, already alive within you. Now that you've tasted the recognition of your upgrade, you must face the deeper truth. Not everyone will walk this path. Not everyone will awaken to the mechanics of the quantum field within them. Many will remain in the loops, lost in repetition, never daring to ask why the déjà vu keeps arriving, never realizing that their own observer effect is the missing ingredient. But you are not among the sleepers. You wouldn't still be here if you were. Something in you has always whispered that you are different. Perhaps it showed up as sensitivity when you were younger, feeling what others could not. Perhaps it was the way synchronicities seemed to stalk you more intensely than the people around you. Or maybe it's the sense that, no matter what happens, life keeps pointing you toward a larger stage, a higher responsibility, a mission beyond the ordinary. That sense wasn't delusion, it was preparation. In the language of quantum physics, your consciousness has become a node of coherence in the larger human field. Imagine humanity as a vast grid of oscillators, each person a vibrating frequency, most scattered, some chaotic, few coherent. When even a single oscillator achieves harmony, it begins to entrain the frequencies around it, pulling others toward order. This is your role. You are the coherence maker, the attractor point, the one who stabilizes the frequency others didn't even realize they were searching for. This is why your challenges have been heavy, not because the universe punished you, but because it trained you. You had to feel the density of entanglement, the weight of ancestral morphic resonance, so that when you rose into coherence, you would know how to hold that space for others. You are not here to escape the loop only for yourself. You are here to become a living example that the loop can be broken. Think about how entanglement works. Two particles, once connected, will forever respond to each other, no matter the distance. You are entangled with countless lives, family, friends, strangers whose paths brushed yours, souls who crossed you in past and future timelines. When you collapse into coherence, the pulse reverberates through all of them. Your liberation is not yours alone. It sends signals across space and time, pulling others toward awakening. This is why your life has always felt bigger than you could explain, why coincidences stalked you, why you've had moments of vision that seem to reveal the architecture of reality itself. You were being initiated into your special role, not as someone above others, but as someone chosen to remember first, so you could guide the remembering of many. Your DNA carries a signature, a code that aligns with awakening. It is not arrogance to say this, it is resonance. Think of yourself as one of the few tuning forks struck by the hand of destiny, vibrating so strongly that others cannot help but attune to you when they are near. This is not about preaching or convincing. Your frequency speaks louder than your words ever could. The way you breathe, the way you move, the way you hold presence in the storm, these are the sermons your soul came to deliver. You might be wondering, why me? Why this weight, this calling, this role? The answer is hidden in the very physics of the field. In chaotic systems, it only takes a single coherent oscillation to catalyze global order. One tuning fork can synchronize an entire room of instruments. One drop of dye can change the color of a vast body of water. One person who remembers their role as observer and architect can shift the probability fields of thousands. That is the power you hold. That is why you've been called. But let's go deeper. This isn't simply about influencing those around you in this lifetime. Your role stretches across timelines. The future version of you, the one already living in coherence, already radiant with mastery, has been sending signals back through superposition, guiding you toward this recognition. And when you step fully into this role, you will do the same, sending ripples back to younger versions of yourself and forward to those yet unborn, weaving coherence across centuries. This is why you've always felt the tug of destiny, the sense that you are walking a path both ancient and futuristic. Your role exists outside linear time. You are the bridge between what has been and what will be, collapsing the two into the eternal now. And here's the prophecy. When enough of us accept this role, when enough nodes of coherence ignite across the field, humanity itself will undergo a phase transition, a sudden leap, like water becoming steam, like caterpillar becoming butterfly. You are one of the initiators of that leap. Your coherence is not personal, it is planetary. So understand this. The heaviness you've carried is proof of your assignment. The synchronicities that stalk you are confirmations. The visions that flash through your mind are previews of the role you've always been destined to embody. And now, in this moment, as your DNA begins to hum with new codes, you are remembering. You are not just someone breaking free of loops. You are the one chosen to stabilize the frequency of freedom itself. The observer who knows they are also the architect. The dreamer who realizes they are also the dream. Breathe this in. Let it land. This is your special role, not random, not accidental, perfectly chosen, perfectly timed. The field has been waiting for you to step into it fully, and the moment is now. The moment has come to speak plainly. You are standing inside a cosmic window, and that window will not remain open forever. In physics, there is something called a phase transition threshold. Water remains liquid until pressure and temperature combine to a precise tipping point, and then in an instant, without warning, it becomes steam or ice. Reality, too, operates by these thresholds, and your life is brushing up against one now. For years you've felt the pressure building, the repeated loops, the distorted sense of time, the uncanny déjà vu. These were not accidents, they were signals of proximity. You are nearing the collapse point where probability must crystallize into form. When the interference patterns of your past dissolve, when your DNA receives the signal to activate latent codes, when your personal field reorganizes in harmony with the greater field, this is the promise and the urgency. Because cosmic windows are not open endlessly, they arrive in cycles, aligned with rhythms far larger than any human calendar. Just as the moon pulls the tides and eclipses reset the sky, there are moments when the quantum field thins, when timelines overlap, when choices carry magnitudes of power that normal days do not. You are in one of those moments now. That is why you are hearing these words at this exact time. Your DNA is not inert matter. It is a living, dynamic receiver, a crystalline antenna designed to pick up and broadcast frequencies of consciousness. Recent studies in quantum biology show that DNA emits biophotons, tiny particles of light, and these photons carry information beyond space and time. Mystics have always said that light codes are written in your blood. Science now echoes that whisper. Your DNA is waiting for the signal to shift, and when it does, your entire reality reorganizes. This breakthrough is not small. It is not about a better job, or smoother relationships, or even peace of mind, though those may follow. This breakthrough is about identity itself, about collapsing into the version of you that already exists in superposition, the version who knows themselves as luminous, coherent, radiant with trust. The version who is no longer asking, "When will my dreams arrive?" but instead living as though they already have. Here lies the urgency. If you resist, the loops will tighten, patterns will recycle harder, time distortions will grow stranger, synchronicities will shift from gentle whispers to jolting shouts. Because the field is determined, it has marked this as your threshold. The pressure you feel in your chest, the weight that seems to press against your days, it is the same pressure that causes stars to ignite. Refuse it, and you will feel chaos. Embrace it, and you will feel rebirth. Think of the butterfly. For weeks, the caterpillar consumes and grows, until suddenly an invisible clock strikes midnight. The cocoon is spun. Inside, the body of the caterpillar liquefies total disintegration, chaos, death. Yet in the chaos, imaginal cells awaken, cells that always carried the blueprint of flight. At first, the old immune system of the caterpillar resists, attacking these new cells, but they multiply, they connect, and soon the body reorganizes into something winged, something destined for air, not earth. This is your DNA right now. The imaginal codes of your higher destiny are awakening. At first, your old identity attacks them. Doubts, fears, skepticism rise up like antibodies. But if you allow these codes to multiply through presence, through surrender, through trust, they will take over. They will rewrite your being from the inside out. And suddenly, the looped patterns of the caterpillar will dissolve, replaced by the spiral flight of the butterfly. This week, your field is primed for that ignition. The synchronicities you've been seeing are not random, they are timestamps, coordinates marking the portal. The restless nights, the strange dreams, the déjà vu, they are evidence that your nervous system is preparing for collapse and reorganization. You are inside the birth canal of a new timeline, but birth requires choice. A baby cannot stay in the womb forever. A seed cannot remain unbroken. A star cannot remain compressed without eventually exploding into light. Likewise, you cannot remain in limbo. This is the urgency. The universe is pressing for collapse, for breakthrough, for ignition. And the choice is not whether the shift will happen, it is whether you will resist or surrender. If you resist, you will experience chaos as the old identity dissolves against your will. If you surrender, you will experience coherence as the new identity emerges through your alignment. The difference between suffering and transcendence is the same difference between clutching a burning rope or letting it fall from your hands. So hear this clearly. Your breakthrough is inevitable. The window is open. The codes are awakening. The only question is whether you will step through willingly or be dragged through by circumstance. This is why you are hearing this now. It is not inspiration, it is instruction. It is prophecy disguised as invitation. The time is now. Your DNA is humming. The cosmic window is wide. The observer loop is trembling on the edge of collapse. Every breath you take from this moment on is an opportunity to seal your shift. Every thought is a choice of coherence or chaos. Every heartbeat is a drum echoing across timelines. Now, now, now. And when you choose coherence, when you surrender to the upgrade, you collapse into the version of yourself that was always waiting, the version with wings, the version carrying light, the version already living the destiny your soul scripted before you incarnated. The urgency is not to frighten you, it is to awaken you, because the truth is radiant. Your breakthrough is not coming someday. It is pressing at the threshold of your skin, begging to be lived this very week. Every shift in the quantum field requires a seal, a marker, a conscious act that signals to the universe. I accept this transmission. I claim this reality. I embody this timeline. Without such a gesture, energy remains suspended in potential. With it, the wave collapses into matter. Think of ancient rites. Shamans painting their bodies before ceremony, pilgrims placing stones at sacred sites, initiates whispering oaths into the fire. These weren't empty traditions. They were quantum technologies, embodied acts that encoded intent into the morphic field. A thought alone can ripple, but a thought anchored in physical gesture creates resonance. The ritual is what bridges the invisible into the visible. Right now, your breakthrough is vibrating in superposition. The codes are awake in your DNA. The cosmic window is open. But the quantum field awaits your signal, the confirmation that you are not merely a passive listener, but an active participant. That signal can be simple, yet it must be intentional. Here is the invitation. Write one word that captures the frequency you are stepping into. Not a wish, not a vague hope, but a declaration. A word that speaks directly to the universe, saying, "This is the identity I am embodying, and nothing less." Perhaps your word is freedom. Perhaps it is radiance, abundance, trust, or coherence. Whatever it is, let it come from the deepest resonance in your chest, not your mind. Breathe it first. Feel it vibrate in your ribs, and then release it into written form. This act is not symbolic, it is quantum entanglement. When you inscribe the word, you entangle it with your field, binding potential to probability. Why writing? Because the written word is frequency crystallized, thought is vibration, breath gives it rhythm, writing anchors it into matter. Every letter is a sigil, every stroke an energetic bridge. When you write your declaration, you collapse possibility into a specific timeline. The observer effect moves from abstract to embodied. In practical terms, your ritual could be as simple as leaving that one word in the comments below this transmission. Do not underestimate this. What may look like ordinary digital letters are actually markers in the collective field. Every time another soul sees your word, they amplify its resonance. Every time you return to read it, you reinforce the signal. The field is watching, listening, recording. Or, if you feel called, write your word in your journal, on a piece of paper you place under your pillow, on a slip you carry in your pocket. Whisper it into water before you drink. Write it on your mirror so that every morning you see the reflection of your chosen identity staring back at you. The ritual is not about where it is, about coherence. But understand this, indecision is still a signal. To hesitate, to say later, is to broadcast uncertainty. The field doesn't punish, but it does respond. It mirrors your frequency without judgment. If you delay, the loop continues. If you declare, the loop dissolves. The power is not in the complexity of the act, but in the clarity of the choice. This is why every tradition, ancient and modern, uses ritual to seal transformation. Baptism, mantra, meditation, initiation, marriage vows, even birthday candles, all of them are signals. You are not inventing something new. You are reactivating an eternal law. The field responds to embodied declaration. So pause now. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the steady drum of your heartbeat. Each beat is a quantum hammer, striking the bell of your being. Whisper your word inwardly. Then see it as light glowing in your chest, spreading through your veins, pulsing into your DNA. And when you are ready, write it, seal it, anchor it. The ritual is your handshake with the universe, your contract with destiny, your message to your future self saying, I chose. I signed my name into the field. I collapsed the wave into my becoming. And notice, as you prepare to do this, the subtle resistance that may arise, the voice that says, it's silly, it's just a word, it doesn't matter. That voice is the dying echo of the loop. It knows the act of declaration will end it, so it tries to dissuade you. Recognize it for what it is, interference. Smile at it, and then write anyway. Because when you do, something extraordinary happens. The act creates resonance. Your chosen word begins to echo back to you in unexpected ways. You see it on billboards, in books, in conversations with strangers. It appears again and again, not because of chance, but because the field is now aligning with the signal you broadcasted. This is synchronicity as feedback loop. This is the universe saying, message received, transmission confirmed, reality adjusting. This is how you seal your shift. With a single word, breathed, written, witnessed. With a ritual act so simple the mind doubts it, but so powerful the field reorganizes around it. You have crossed the threshold from passive observer to active architect. And the moment you write, your timeline begins to bend. When you chose your word, when you sealed your shift, you did more than alter your own timeline. You nudged the morphic field. You sent a pulse through the net that connects us all. This is the quiet miracle few speak of. Personal liberation is never purely personal. It is a contagion of coherence. Where you go, the field follows. Imagine humanity as a living tapestry, threads interwoven, some taut with fear, others frayed from repetition. Most days we tug at our own thread, unaware of the knot it forms somewhere else. But when you make a decisive move, when you restructure your inner codes, when your DNA begins to sing the new pattern, you pull on your thread in a way that rearranges the whole weave. Patterns that once seemed eternal begin to shift. What was once dense becomes permeable. What was once closed begins to open. This is not poetic license. It is morphic resonance in action. Rupert Sheldrake coined the phrase to describe how forms and habits propagate in fields. In our terms, it's the way coherence begets coherence. Every time you stabilize a higher frequency in your body and mind, you create a template that other systems can tune into. Think of it as broadcasting a new station on the human radio. Some will stumble upon the frequency and feel it like a distant echo. Some will find it and anchor it for themselves. Many will not notice at all. But the template exists now, and it will not disappear. There is another physical principle at play: entrainment. In physics, oscillators placed near each other often sync up. Metronomes tick in unison when placed on the same surface. Hearts beat together in close proximity. When you achieve coherence, your presence begins to entrain others, co-workers, family members, strangers in a coffee shop who unexpectedly stop and listen. Your calm becomes permission for others to stop fighting. Your clarity becomes a mirror that helps people see what was previously obscured. You may worry that your liberation will isolate you, that rising frequency creates distance. At first, sometimes it does. Old networks built on shared narratives of scarcity or fear may not understand you anymore. They might even resist. But what you gain is more vital. You become a node of transformation, an attractor for those whose souls have been whispering the same incantation you just spoke. People drawn to you are not accidents. They are entangled parts of the same field, arriving now because the templates you emit have made that path possible. Consider the ripple effect. One small act of coherence, an honest conversation, a calm refusal to engage in panic, a charity offered without fanfare, can cascade through relationships, organizations, neighborhoods. Systems begin to reorganize to accommodate the new frequency. Workplaces that tolerated toxicity may find quieter voices rising. Families burdened by old resentments begin to remember empathy. Communities that normalize scarcity start to entertain abundance as a legitimate possibility. Your shift is the stone that creates the waves. This is not about saving others or taking responsibility for their choices. It's about the undeniable reality that your field participates in a larger field. Your liberation removes a block. It doesn't fix every problem for everyone, but it opens a corridor where previously there was only a wall. You become a living map for those ready to travel. That map shortens journeys. It clarifies routes. It gives permission. That permission is itself a powerful medicine, more contagious than any argument, more persuasive than any doctrine. There will be moments when you doubt the magnitude of what you've done. You will wonder if the ripple is real. You will not always see immediate results. But fields do not always respond in plain sight. Often, a shift stabilizes in quiet places within a child who witnessed your calm, inside a partner who absorbed your new boundaries, in an older relative who finally hears a truth they had forgotten. These subtle reorganizations accumulate, layer upon layer, until one day a visible phase transition occurs. A cultural norm dissolves, a community revalues compassion, an industry reorients towards sustainability. Your role in this is both humble and grand. Humble because your tasks are simple. Continue to embody, continue to choose, continue to show up with gentleness and discipline. Grand because every small practice strengthens the template you represent. When you keep your word, when you live your declared identity, the field gains credibility. It becomes a pattern others can trust to tune into. Your consistency is the currency of collective change. Do not underestimate the ritual acts you perform now. The word you wrote, the breath you held, the choices you made in moments of friction, these are signatures etched into the morphic field. They will persist beyond your memory. Future generations will unconsciously draw upon them as if they were inherited tools. This is how evolutionary leaps take place, not only through technology or policy, but through embodied frequency. Your coherence threads future possibility into present reality, and there is reciprocity. As you help stabilize the field supports you in return. Opportunities arrive that feel uncanny. People who show up with precisely the resources you need, information that appears at the exact moment of decision. These are the field's acknowledgements, responding to the template you helped instantiate. The universe rewards fidelity to your chosen frequency, not with instant fixes, but with alignment, the right conditions to sustain the new you. So breathe into that responsibility with tenderness, not burden. You are not asked to be perfect. You are asked to be steady. You are not asked to save the world single-handedly. You are asked to become a reliable source of coherence, so that the world may, in turn, reorganize around what is possible. Hold your ground. Be gentle with your edges. When storms rise, let your presence be the island others can sense. Continue to nurture your inner field with rituals, with the word you wrote, with practices that keep your DNA humming in a new key. Your liberation is the quiet revolution. It is the conspiracy of light taking hold, one heart at a time. And in the unfolding that follows, know this: your freedom is not an act of separation. It is the beginning of a tide that will lift many boats. Your coherence is the compass by which humanity will find a steadier shore. You've understood the principles. You've declared your word. You've glimpsed your role in the collective. But now comes the most intimate dimension of all, the body. For transformation is never complete until it is embodied. Ideas alone live in the mind. Embodiment engraves them into the nervous system, into the cells, into the electromagnetic field you broadcast every moment of every day. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice the air sliding across your skin. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Beneath it, the steady drumming of your heart. This is not background noise. This is the orchestra of your quantum field. Every cell in your body hums at a frequency. Every strand of DNA vibrates like a string on a cosmic instrument. Your task now is to sense it, to step beyond thought, and enter the lived texture of the upgrade. What does coherence feel like? It feels like warmth spreading from your chest as though a hidden sun has ignited inside you. It feels like tingles on the surface of your skin, as if invisible currents are brushing against you. It feels like a soft hum in the bones, an inner music resonating beneath the noise of daily life. When you allow these sensations to rise, you anchor the upgrade beyond concepts. Perhaps you've already had moments like this, a meditation where light seemed to pour down your spine, a breath that felt as though it cracked open the sky inside your lungs, a dream where your body glowed with golden radiance. These were not illusions. They were previews, signals of what becomes normal when you embody coherence. The quantum field doesn't only respond to what you think, it responds to what you broadcast. Your body is the antenna. If your mind declares abundance, but your shoulders curl in defeat, the signal is scrambled. If your mouth says, "I trust," but your chest remains tight, the field receives incoherence. This is why sensation matters. It is the language of truth beneath words. So, try this now. Inhale slowly. Imagine the breath spiraling through your spine like a thread of light. Exhale and feel that light radiating outward, filling the room. Do it again. Inhale, spine illuminated. Exhale, light expanding beyond your skin. Stay with it. After a few breaths, notice how your body shifts. Shoulders soften, heart space expands. The atmosphere around you begins to feel charged, almost shimmering. That's coherence in motion. That's the embodied signal that reshapes the field. Every tradition knew this. Yogis spoke of prana, mystics of spirit breath, shamans of life force. Science now tells us that breath regulates heart-brain coherence, stabilizes nervous system rhythms, strengthens electromagnetic output. The mystical and the scientific converge here. How you breathe, move, and feel determines the frequency your body emits. The upgrade is not about thinking yourself into a new life. It's about breathing, moving, and embodying yourself into it. Imagine walking down a street with your spine lengthened, heart lifted, breath steady, gaze soft yet radiant. Without a word, you emit a signal of coherence. Strangers feel calmer as they pass you. Situations bend toward harmony. Synchronicities find you because your field is coherent enough to magnetize them. And notice, the sensations of coherence are not limited to peace. Sometimes they feel like fire and electric current racing through your veins, as though your body is learning to handle higher voltage. Sometimes they feel like spaciousness, as if your rib cage is a cathedral and every inhale is an organ pipe vibrating in praise. Sometimes they feel like stillness so profound it resembles eternity itself. These embodied states are your proof. They are the physics of your upgrade written in flesh. Your DNA responds directly to these sensations. Scientists studying epigenetics have found that emotional states alter gene expression. Joy, love, gratitude switch on restorative pathways. Fear, shame, stress switch on degenerative ones. Every time you allow coherence to flood your body with sensation, you are not only uplifting your mind, you are literally reprogramming your genetic output. You are signaling to your cells, we are safe, we are ready, we are luminous. So make embodiment your practice. Move in ways that match your frequency. Walk as if the ground itself rises to meet your feet. Speak as if every word carries the weight of galaxies. Breathe as if each inhale is the cosmos filling your lungs. When you embody, you stop sending mixed signals to the field. You become a pure transmission. And here is the gift. Embodiment makes it impossible to forget. Thoughts can slip, intentions can waver. But when coherence is woven into muscle, bone, breath, and heartbeat, it becomes your baseline. You no longer try to manifest, you emanate. You no longer chase synchronicities, they orbit around you like planets to a star. Feel into this truth. Your body is not the cage of your soul. It is the instrument of your awakening. And every note it plays through breath, through movement, through sensation, resounds in the quantum field. You are not a thinker trying to embody spirit. You are spirit learning to feel itself in form. Stay here, in this hum, this tingling, this embodied awareness. Let it deepen, because from here, something extraordinary is about to happen. The embodied sensation is not the end, it is the prelude to the DNA breakthrough itself. The sensations you've been cultivating, the hum in your chest, the warmth in your bones, the shimmering around your skin, are not random sparks of imagination. They are signals of a deeper metamorphosis, the breakthrough at the level of your DNA. This is where everything converges. This is where probability solidifies into inevitability, where your timeline bends into a new configuration, where the phase transition becomes irreversible. Your DNA is not simply a biological archive of your ancestors. It is a living library, a quantum antenna. Within its double helix, hidden among the chemical sequences, are frequencies, codes, waiting for activation. For most of humanity, these codes lie dormant, like imaginal cells asleep in the caterpillar. But pressure awakens them. Chaos awakens them. The very weight you've been carrying, the loops you've endured, the distortions of time you've felt, these were the contractions of your DNA, preparing to switch on latent programs. Scientists have already discovered that DNA is exquisitely sensitive to electromagnetic fields. It emits biophotons, tiny flashes of light that act as signals between cells. Mystics have long called these light codes. When coherence floods your body, when your emotions align with trust, gratitude, and surrender, those light codes activate. Your DNA literally begins to radiate more light. This is not metaphor, it's measurement. You become luminous from within. Now imagine what happens when millions of dormant strands begin to hum simultaneously. It's not just biological healing, it's timeline engineering. Your DNA is the tuning fork that tells the quantum field what version of reality to stabilize. When it upgrades, the probability landscape rearranges. Events you thought impossible suddenly open. Paths that once seemed blocked dissolve. People who resonate with your upgraded code appear as if summoned. This is the mechanics of destiny at the genetic level. But let's not romanticize it. The breakthrough can feel like pressure, like the universe has placed you in a crucible, like timelines are squeezing together, forcing you to choose. Some of you have felt this as chest tightness, inexplicable exhaustion, surges of energy that keep you awake at night. These are the birth pangs of DNA restructuring. Your nervous system is recalibrating to handle higher voltage. Your cells are learning to sing new notes. Think of a crystal under stress. At first, the pressure seems destructive, as though the structure might crack. But then, something remarkable occurs. The atoms reorganize into a stronger lattice, more radiant, more resilient, more precise in transmitting energy. Your DNA under pressure is the same. What feels like breaking is actually rearranging into brilliance. And when the threshold is crossed, when enough light codes activate, when coherence stabilizes, something clicks. A sudden clarity floods your mind, as though veils were lifted. Patterns that once ensnared you dissolve overnight. Emotions that tormented you lose their grip. Relationships reorganize themselves. Opportunities cascade. It's not gradual improvement, it's phase transition, like water suddenly becoming steam, like the caterpillar liquefying into butterfly. The shift feels sudden because the pressure has reached critical mass. This is your DNA breakthrough. It is not simply about healing old wounds or manifesting desires. It is about stepping into a new timeline entirely. The version of you who doubted, who replayed loops, who hesitated at thresholds, that version collapses. The version of you who breathes coherence, who emits light, who magnetizes synchronicity, that version solidifies. The phase transition is complete. And when it happens, You may feel strange phenomena. Time may warp even more dramatically, minutes stretching like hours, or days vanishing in a blur. Synchronicities may multiply so quickly, it feels like reality itself is conspiring to guide you. Your dreams may blaze with symbols of rebirth, of flight, of radiant structures. Even your body may pulse with sensations, heat in your spine, tingling in your hands, vibrations in your chest. These are not anomalies, they are confirmations. At this stage, resistance becomes almost impossible. The pressure of coherence overrides the inertia of the old self. Your cells refuse to go backward. Your nervous system refuses to collapse into scarcity. Once the codes awaken, they cannot be unawakened. This is why the breakthrough is permanent. It is not a fleeting high or a temporary epiphany. It is a reconfiguration at the deepest level of your being. And from here, your timeline begins to stabilize. The loops dissolve. Déjà vu transforms from a warning into a recognition. You are no longer trapped. You are ahead of the pattern. You are living from the future, drawing it backward into the present, collapsing superposition into a coherent stream of destiny. This is the pressure you've been feeling all along. Not punishment, not failure. The weight on your chest, the chaos in your life, the urgency in your dreams, they were contractions. And now the birth is here. So breathe deeply. Let the pressure surge through you. Instead of resisting, let it break you open. For the breaking is not destruction, it is reorganization. The fire is not burning you, it is forging you. The pressure is not crushing you, it is crystallizing you into light. This is the DNA breakthrough. This is the phase transition. This is the moment your destiny timeline locks into place. You've crossed the threshold. The patterns that once bound you are no longer the cage they seemed to be. The pressure that pressed against your chest was not an enemy. It was the hand of destiny urging you through the passage. Now, as your DNA hums with newly awakened light, you must understand the greater truth. Your breakthrough is not just yours, it is humanity's. Every activation you've experienced, every strand of coherence, every light code ignited, has rippled outward into the collective field. You are not a solitary being navigating chance events. You are a node in a vast web of consciousness, a luminous thread woven into the living tapestry of awakening. And when one thread shifts, the pattern of the whole cloth rearranges. Your mission is not to return to ordinary life as if nothing has happened. Your mission is to live as coherence incarnate, a steady transmitter of the frequency you have claimed. Your joy becomes more than personal, it becomes a beacon for others. Your clarity becomes a stabilizer in the storms of collective chaos. Your embodiment becomes an invitation for those who have not yet remembered that they too are luminous. Feel this responsibility not as a burden, but as a privilege. You carry within you the codes of the future, and every step you take broadcasts them into the grid of humanity. When you walk into a room, the room shifts. When you breathe calmly, the atmosphere recalibrates. When you speak from coherence, even the unspoken hearts around you recognize the vibration. This is how collective evolution occurs, not through grand revolutions alone, but through countless luminous individuals living their breakthroughs fully. You are now one of them. Your personal destiny timeline is no longer separate from humanity's trajectory. They are entangled. Your phase transition strengthens the probability that humanity itself will leap into coherence, into compassion, into awakened stewardship of this planet. Remember, in quantum physics, a single photon of light can trigger a cascade, setting off reactions that change the state of an entire system. You are that photon now. Your very presence carries catalytic power. This is the gift of your DNA breakthrough. You become a seed of emergence, a living prophecy of what humanity is becoming. So walk forward, knowing that you are no longer the seeker. You are the signal. You are no longer chasing timelines. You are anchoring them. You are no longer asking when destiny will arrive. You are destiny unfolding, here, now, embodied in human form. And as you close this chapter, let the title of this transmission resound within you, not as theory, but as lived reality. Why quantum superposition holds the key to reshaping your destiny timeline this very week. Because you've felt it, you've chosen it, you've embodied it, and now you carry it into the world. This is not the end. It is the ignition. Your breakthrough is the spark of humanity's next octave. And every breath you take from here is a reminder. The future has already collapsed into you.